Testing. Do. Just need to see if the audio is coming through. It should be. It looks like it is. Just need to. Alright. Wonderful. Okay, we are back in Pesterquest, Volume 11, Live, Laugh, Bake, with Jane Crocker. So, looks like, according to the Steam page, only one person this time, and it's one of the alpha kids, so I don't know if they're going to make this one extra long to compensate, or if they're switching to a one person at a time thing for the next 4 kids. Who knows? Oh, we'll see. It's a beautiful moonlit night in Alternia. The sky is clear, a cool breeze is blowing, and even the unbearable screeching of steel-throated bat crickets sounds a little sweeter than usual. And yet, I'm not going to read all of this out loud. It would destroy my voice. Or it'd get pretty rough towards the end, and it would take freaking forever. So, yeah, I'm going to turn on the auto voicer. This is one of the human kids, so they probably would have like a unbearable quirk for the auto voicer to read, so should be good.
Self-voicing enabled.
There we go.
A moment of panic hangs in the air. Trolling, carcinogeneticist, Dave, are you okay? Trolling, carcinogeneticist, hey. Trolling, carcinogeneticist, oh god. Trolling, carcinogeneticist, what has she done? Trolling, carcinogeneticist, Dave. Trolling, carcinogeneticist, please tell me that's just grub sauce. Trolling, carcinogeneticist, please just be grub sauce, please just be grub sauce, please just be grub sauce. Trolling, arachnid's grip, carcat stop 8 so melodrama aotic.
Carcat stop being so melodramatic. There, when the auto voicer freaks out on some of their typing quirks, I'll voice it in.
Trolling, arachnid's grip, it wasn't even me who did it. Trolling, gallows calibrator, /. Trolling, arachnid's grip. Yup okay F8NE, it was my F8 ULT. I admit it.
Okay, fine. It was my fault, I admit it. How do you make a I out of an 8? Whatever.
Trolling, arachnid's grip. Self-voicing disabled.
So, it looks like she hasn't, gone through some, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? It's too early. Retribution. Or, not retribution. Oh, what's the word I want? Oh. Reconciliation? No. Character better McGooderson. There we go. You know what I mean. Alright, but I'm sure he'll be fine. Yeah, Carcat. No biggie. I mean, this is obviously the shittiest situation I could possibly be in right now. What exactly did go on here? Like my lawyers will be in touch, don't even think that they won't. But also, it is literally fucking grub sauce. So like, chill for 2 seconds. Oh, they played us.
Self-voicing enabled. Trolling, carcinogeneticist, oh thank God.
You played us, hussy.
Turntech Godhead, like I know the idea of me having to swap out my soiled ketchup encrusted pants is getting you all hot and bothered under that sweater, but damn. Turntech Godhead, this is a picnic, dude. Turntech Godhead, there are children present. And just like that, everything's alright. You have single-handedly revolutionized the art of picnicking on Alternia. You've got a huge checkered blanket, a car-sized wicker hamper, an unholy quantity of foods in Tupperware containers, a lively crowd of your best and most recently acquired friends, everything one could possibly need. Shit's quaint as all fuck out here. Tentacle therapist, so how many tentacles would you say she has, roughly? Trolling, cuttlefish color, let me see. Tentacle therapist, it's okay, take your time.
Okay, everything is going far too well for them. Everything is going to come crashing down in glorious, ridiculous fashion, probably, is my guess.
Tentacle therapist, my interest is trolling, Grimauxiliatrix, purely scientific. Tentacle therapist, yes, precisely. Thank you, Kanaya. Tentacle therapist, this is part of my studies in the field of cryptozoology. Tentacle therapist, it's hardly an exact science, but you can help us make it exacter. Trolling, cuttlefish color, WLT, that's T,
Well,
E problem.
that's the problem.
Trolling, cuttlefish color, I really don't T, ink T, here's a definite answer.
Really don't think there's a definite answer.
Trolling, cuttlefish color, she just, as so many, 380.
Right.
Tentacle therapist. Trolling, Grimauxiliatrix.
More ellipses.
Tentacle therapist, fascinating. Everyone seems to be having a really great time. You're a pretty good picnic host, if you do say so yourself. You let yourself lie back on the blanket and relax. Garden Gnostic, Nepeta. Could you pass me one of those beautiful green pies, please? Trolling, Arsenic Catnip 33. Oh sure. Let me just. Trolling, Caligula's aquarium, it's okay, I got this. Trolling, Twin Armageddons, dude. Trolling, Twin Armageddons, 2 TEP off LMAO.
Step off Lamau.
Trolling, Twin Armageddons, 2
She
HE
didn't
Diet ask for your help. Everyone's getting along so well.
If these are the getting along well phases.
Trolling, Caligula's aquarium, wool. Trolling, Caligula's aquarium, I didn't ask for your opinion on would her the mid-blood human female wanted my help or not. Trolling, Twin Armageddons, oh my god died you too seriously JU2T call her that.
Oh my god, did you seriously just call her that?
Trolling, Twin Armageddons, what I too wrong with you? Garden Gnostic, guys. Trolling, Twin Armageddons, HUMAN2 don't even have different blood COLOR2UU2ELE22 tool. Simply enjoying one another's company. Trolling, Caligula's aquarium, alright that does it. Trolling, Caligula's aquarium, I've had enough of this wishy-washy long meal nonsense. Trolling, Twin Armageddons, and I've had enough of you. Garden Gnostic, oh thanks Nepeta. Trolling, Arsenic Catnip, 33 no problem H33H33, love. Trolling, Twin Armageddons, E2HIIT and die.
Eat shit and die.
Trolling, Caligula's aquarium, WWH why don't you make me? Trolling, Twin Armageddons, IIT would be my PLEA to URE.
It would be my pleasure.
Wait. What's going on over there? Oh no. Dear God, no, not now. This is a disaster. You've got to find some way to stop this, before everything you've worked for collapses under the weight of pointless, shitty boy drama. You don't have a moment to lose. Trolling, terminally capricious, what's better than this? Trolling, terminally capricious, guys Bane allies. Oh, hi there Gamzee. Don't mind you, you're just trying to stop a picnic emergency. Trolling, terminally capricious, hey, hold on sister, let's not be hasty. Trolling, terminally capricious, right now, we're witnessing the birth of the greatest and dare I say most righteous miracle of them all. Trolling, terminally capricious, gender. Motherfuckin'. Equality. Smiley face.
Okay.
And just like that, everything breaks apart. You wake up alone. It's a cold, dark night on Alternia. The sky is overcast, a harsh wind is blowing, and the only other sound to be heard is your own breathing. Panicked, shaky. You curl up a little tighter in your puddle of blankets in the corner.
Don't know what gender has to do with all of this. I guess equality, maybe, for sure.
You try and think back to the wonderful dream you were having, but now it all seems ruined.
I see.
You were only trying to take a short rest from fomenting revolutionary sentiment among your peers and fixing all their problems, which as it turns out is a full-time job. You just wanted to indulge your imagination for a while, and skip to the part where everyone's happy already. There's nothing wrong with that, right? It all seemed so real, so full of potential, like you could get there in an instant if only you tried a little harder. But now it hits you like a cold, wet circus pie filled with cement. Your dream of hope was nothing more than that, with no basis in reality or accurate characterization. Some things are simply too good to be true, and your subconscious clearly knew that all along. It hurts, and you don't know whether to laugh, cry, or just get really, really angry about it. You've made some wonderful friends over the last few weeks. Months. It's been such a hectic whirlwind of non-stop amicability, you're not even sure how long you've been going. You've achieved so much on your quest, you know that for a fact. But now, looking around this empty room, filled with the ghosts of memories from a lifetime ago, you can't help but feel despondent. Maybe there are some things you won't ever be able to fix. Man, this blows.
So which room exactly was this one of the hive swap? Or what was that one called? Not hive swap, oh yeah, hive swap, friend sim, yeah. Rooms.
For some reason, your thoughts turn to John. He was conspicuously absent from your dream. It feels like you haven't seen him for ages. You miss him. Without really thinking about it, you pick yourself up. You've had enough of this horrible planet for now.
Oh, that's probably what the gender equality thing is. They're switching from John to Jane. That's my guesstimate there. Which John and Jane have. Obviously, this is pretty weird. So they have some kind of a connection. I'm not going to spoil too much, but you'll figure it out if you actually read the comic.
Your friends here will be alright without you for a while. You tell yourself that a few times, just to make sure you believe it. And then, zap. You materialize in a pleasantly familiar suburban neighborhood, standing in front of a pleasantly familiar house. It must be late fall by now. There are barely any leaves left on the trees, and there's a chill in the air. But your heart fills with warmth at the prospect of hanging out with your old friend John again. While your newer friends have all been fun to spend time with, in their own ways, you can't help but feel a special kind of fondness for John. It's not like you play favorites with your chums or anything, but maybe the fact that he was the first friend you met on your journey sets him apart from the others.
And it's through meeting him that you ruined everything.
It's nice to be back on Earth, too. You missed being able to go out in the sunshine. Your eyes wander a little, taking in the trees, the grass, the houses, before settling on the mailbox in the yard. A worrying thought occurs to you. Maybe, in getting so caught up with meeting so many new people, John has forgotten all about you. Surely your friendship wouldn't have diminished so quickly, but were you really all that close to begin with? You still feel bad about having thrown his birthday present in the sewer all that time ago. That was just such a shitty thing to do, in more ways than one. You were a really bad friend to John, before you were friends with John. You're suddenly overcome with the urge to make it up to him. Instead of making a new friend today, why not try being a better friend to one you already have? Taking a peek at the mailbox, there seems to be something inside. Maybe, if you make absolutely sure to give it to him this time, that will start to make up for your Maybe, if you make absolutely sure to give it to him this time, that will start to make up for your earlier mistake.
Okay, note to self, if you mouse over this stuff, you kind of reset the auto voicers.
Save. Close. Maybe.
Right.
Pilfer the post.
Pilfer.
Yeah, that's an excellent idea. John will be so happy that the mail came with no mishap, and so grateful that you, his trusted pal, were able to make it happen. Perhaps you could even pretend it's an apology gift you got him. Wow, you've gotten so good at being a friend by now it's not even real. There's basically no way this plan can backfire.
It backfires.
You reach a hand inside the mailbox to grab the package, and then everything goes dark.
Quite literally.
Image go load slot.
Alright, I like that one.
Maybe reconsider. On second thought, that's a terrible idea. Self-voicing disabled.
Alright, that was actually a pretty fun one, because it actually, usually you get like a whole, spiel before it, goes wrong. That one was, pretty direct, so I like it. Anyway, on with it.
Self-voicing enabled. On second thought, that's a terrible idea. Like holy shit, that's bad. You take a moment to slap yourself around the face for a few minutes, just to rub it in. How could you be so stupid? The kind of depravity that leads one to desecrate the sanctity of a friend's mailbox is what got you into this mess in the first place. Oh, looks like the mailman forgot to put up the thing. The flappy whingy doodad. The bright red arm dealy on the side of the mailbox. You are quite certain that this thing is supposed to be up when there's mail to be retrieved. Even an idiot could tell you that much, and you are a first-rate idiot. You carefully raise the little red flag. Immediately, out of the corner of your eye, you spy movement in an upstairs window. It must be John, scoping out the mail again. Quick as a flash, you zap yourself out of sight and behind a nearby bush. A white cat is hanging out back here. It hisses at you, but you let a wave of crackling Rietkin energy dance across your palms and the kitty vanishes. It literally just straight up disappears. That's okay. Fine. Whatever. It is a truth universally acknowledged that cats can do whatever the hell they want. Except for taking this hiding spot, that is, which you have now commandeered in the name of friendship. Oh ho ho, this is a much better plan to surprise John. You can't believe you didn't think of it before. You know he loves pranks, and what better prank than to be ambushed by a dear friend. You hope you're still his dear friend. Oh god, you're getting nervous again. You hear the front door open. Shoot, here he comes. Wait. This isn't John, oh goodness no. Why, it appears to be some kind of famous detective type individual. Or at least, someone in a famous detective disguise. But what's more, you get the strange impression that the person underneath the disguise isn't John either. Whoever it is, they make a beeline for the mailbox. Oh shit. Maybe you're watching another mailbox robbery in action. That would explain the need for a disguise, you guess? They reach out their hand. All of a sudden, several things race through your mind unbidden. The smell of burning. A flash of light. Pain. Without thinking, you spring into action. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, oof. You grab the interloper and zap inside the house. You both materialize in midair and collapse in a heap on the floor. Outside, you hear the telltale sound of an exploding mailbox, because for some reason you know what those sound like.
For some reason, yeah. Oh, we've got some, problem sleuth back there. Neat. Forget what that is, if it's anything, or whatever.
Phew. That was a close one. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, oh lordy, that smarts. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, what? Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, what on earth just happened? Your companion sits up in a bit of a daze. It looks like the disguise got knocked off in all the kerfuffle. Your hunch was right on the money, this is definitely not John Egbert. She does look oddly familiar though. You take a look out of the window, down into the yard below. Yup, it's just like your ears told you, where once there was a mailbox, there is now a smoldering wooden stump, surrounded by debris. It's a sight to bring a tear to any mailman's eye, fake or otherwise. You turn back around to find the stranger standing over you, looking thoroughly disgruntled. She's pointing a large red spoon directly at your chest. It doesn't really come off as all that threatening, you have to be honest, although she could probably do you at least some form of injury with it. The injury likely wouldn't be all that serious, but you'd try to take it seriously anyway.
Yeah, some pity seriousness.
Just to be polite. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, now hold on just one moment, Buster. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, who are you, what are you doing in my bedroom, and what in the blue blazes is going on? Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, come on, spit it out. Oh no, you hate being put on the spot. And the first question was such a tough one, too. Who are you? It's something you don't have a definite answer to, even after all this time. Gosh, she does seem awfully confident with that spoon. You begin to entertain the thought that this girl might simply decide to beat you to death with it. You're finding it hard to think amid all the confusion. Didn't she say that this is her bedroom? You were dead certain that this was John's house. It is John's house. It even has the tire swing and everything. And this girl, who even is she?
In fact, John's house.
John's never mentioned having a sister or anything before. But looking around the room, it's obvious that she lives here. And there's no trace of any of John's things. Did he move house without telling you? That thought makes you so impossibly sad. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, well, if you won't talk, I suppose I'll have to suss out the truth myself. She looks at you very carefully for a moment, before glancing over at one of the posters on the wall. It's a black and white picture of what looks like a daring group of detectives. They're drawn in a fairly minimal style, with round, ovoid heads. Immediately, her face lights up in recognition. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, oh. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, oh, I see. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, hoo-hoo, mum's the word. She taps the side of her nose knowingly and winks, and you realize that she's trying to let you know that she knows something that you supposedly both know. But all you really know is that you have no idea what it is.
Oh, so our dude is one of the characters from Problem Sleuth, perhaps the eponymous Problem Sleuth himself. They did go into a lot of weird stuff in that comic, so I don't really remember it completely. I mean, there's a lot that goes on, so it's entirely possible that he is one of those people that is just like traveling through different worlds for some reason, so who knows? Maybe that's what's going on.
Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, oh you're very good. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, pretending not to know that which you know that I know that we both know. No, you're telling her, you haven't got the foggiest clue what she's talking about? Knowing stuff? How could anyone possibly accuse you of such a thing? Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, OPFFF, it's alright, I won't tell anyone. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, keeping incognito is of the utmost importance for problem sleuths like us. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, always a pleasure to meet a fellow fan. She seems to be under the impression that you're some sort of cosplayer? Either that, or an undercover agent of some sort. Oh, what the hell, you might as well roll with it. This'll be easier than pretending to be a postal worker, at any rate. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, hold on a moment. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, I've got just the thing for a fellow gentle person of taste. She puts the spoon away for a moment, which is a relief, then whips another copy of the poster and a pen out of nowhere and signs it. You've never met or heard of this girl before and she's just straight up giving you her autograph. You take a look at the signature. The name reads Jane Crocker. Huh. You guess this girl's name is Jane then. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, now that we've got that out of the way. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, nice though it is to make your acquaintance, that doesn't explain what you're doing in my house. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, or, come to think of it, how we even got here. Well, it's all very simple actually. Just a boring, everyday example of an innocent bystander stepping in to save an unwitting teen from a parcel bomb with their zappy hell treasure powers. Nothing weird at all. You zap around the room a bit, by way of demonstration, ending up back where you started. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, HRMMM. Transportalization technology. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, I knew various competitors of ours had been developing something like that for a while, but I had no idea they were already doing field tests. I suppose it shouldn't surprise me. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, but a parcel bomb, you say? You gesture out of the window at the sad, obliterated remains of the mailbox. There was nothing anyone could do to save it, or its contents. Oh shoot. Jane wasn't expecting any extremely important deliveries, was she? Potentially in the form of significant birthday gifts, or a copy of a mysterious computer game. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, you mean the Spurb Alpha? I'm not surprised you've heard about it. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, that isn't due for another week, though. Oh, well that's a relief then. No harm done. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, I wouldn't go quite that far. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, Alpha notwithstanding, the fact remains that someone tried to blow me up. Okay, so some harm done. Gee, the nerve of some people. You cannot fathom who could possibly want to do such a thing, and especially to someone as harmless and personable as Jane here. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, come on. One doesn't like to state the obvious, but... Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, if I had to guess, it's probably related to my being in line to inherit one of the largest corporations on the planet. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, Crocker Corp has its enemies, there's no question about that. Ah. Of course, that's why her surname was so familiar. Jane is the new face of the Betty Crocker Company. You don't know what you expected? Considering what's happened on your journey so far, you should have seen this sort of thing coming.
I always kind of wondered how they get around the whole copyright trademark issue there, or if they're just trying to fly under the radar and hope for the best, or what's going on, but whatever.
Speaking of which, you wonder aloud if anything like this has ever happened before? The only thing that could make this any more surprising is if Jane had been sent similarly life-threatening cargo on any previous occasions. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, oh, yes. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, why, we got mailed something similar just last week. You try not to think too hard about the fact that Jane apparently fell for the exact same trick 2 weeks in a row. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, Father was out in the yard, about to take his car out back for a soak, when the blessed mailbox went up in smoke. It was quite the shock. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, ever since then, he's been a bit antsy about me checking the mail myself, but today it arrived while he was out. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, good thing, too. He would have thrown a fit if he'd known. I'm barely allowed out of the house as it is. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, I'm sure he means well, but it can come off as a bit overprotective sometimes. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, it's plumb ridiculous. A grown lass full of vim and vigor can take perfectly good care of herself. You don't want to pass hasty judgment on someone's familial situation, but it sounds like Jane's father is just trying to keep her safe. It can't be easy, constantly deflecting death threats away from someone determined to walk right into them. Where's her sense of self-preservation? Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, I suppose it might seem strange to the uninitiated, but you sort of learn to accept it after a while. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, I've been dodging death ever since I can remember. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, people seem really determined to do me in. I simply can't explain it. Jesus. Wow. That must be pretty rough going. God, that sounds awful actually. Being the imminent ruler of an empire must come with a fair number of people who want you gone. Thinking back to your encounter with Fieferi, you suppose that you were recently part of such an attempt yourself, in a manner of speaking. You decline to mention this to Jane, and being reminded of your time on Alternia causes you to lapse into an uncomfortable silence. Jane looks around a little awkwardly before breaking it. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, so. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, not that I'm ungrateful for the fact that you appear to have rescued me from certain peril, but... Oh, right, of course. You're intruding in a complete stranger's home. You'd almost forgotten that this is the first time you and Jane have ever met. Your heart sinks as you consider that, between the vastness of the universe and the determination of those attempting to murder her, this might be the last time you ever meet as well. Jane offers to show you out. On the way downstairs, you politely ask her how long it's been since her family moved here. Does she know if anyone called John used to live in this house? She gives you a strange look, before gesturing to a, "Oh God, is that a corpse by the fireplace?" You take a moment to process the fact that Jane has a stuffed human person mounted on a plinth in her living room. She says it's her papo, which you guess means grandfather. It's kind of hard to parse some of the vocabulary Jane uses sometimes. Anyway, the guy's name was John, and you can't help but see a resemblance to your good friend Egbert. You've encountered enough coincidences by now to know that this must be him, somehow. You must have traveled forwards in time by accident, or some such. This is the only possible explanation. You try very hard not to have a whole mental breakdown about your apparently long-dead friend, but sadly not hard enough.
That's actually not the entire explanation. The entire explanation is, much more complicated.
However, at the sight of your various expressions of horror, shock, and confusion, Jane perks up considerably. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, did you know my dear old Papo? Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, you should have said something. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, he was a popular fellow, so I suppose it was only a matter of time before one of the friends from his performing heydays came to visit. That's right, Jane, keep talking about him and your friendship in the past tense, this is totally helping you feel better. By which you mean to say, yes Jane, you're absolutely right. You are an old entertaining friend of her Papo's, who just so happened to be visiting the area in the middle of the circus touring season? You try not to be too insulted when Jane eats the lie up without a moment's hesitation. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, well if one of old Papo Crocker's pals is here, I suppose I can't just turn you out on the street like some nobody. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, and Papa would never forgive me for giving a family friend a cold shoulder. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, you simply must stay a while longer. I insist. You cannot help but agree enthusiastically. And here you were thinking this volume was over before it really got started. Gee, this makes a nice change. You've grown accustomed to putting in a lot of hard work to score some hangout time with various people on your journey, but all it took to convince Jane was a pre-established connection with her apparently very wealthy relatives. It just goes to show you stuff. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, I'm afraid I haven't fulfilled my duties as host very well so far, but I'm determined to change that starting now. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, but Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, what to do? You've been playing the game of friendship long enough by now to sense an important decision approaching. You take a quick inventory of Jane's important character details, interests, and personality traits. She seems to have a passion for the lost art of sleuthing and famous detectives of years past. Her imminent inheritance of a baking conglomerate and expert spoon-wielding likely indicate that she knows her way around a cake or two as well. Why don't the two of you save, close, why don't the two practice some self-care? You know what, all this heavy stuff has really been getting to you recently. Christ, you left Alternia to get away from the hell murdery nonsense, but if anything it feels just as stressful back here on Earth with Jane. The adrenaline rush from the impromptu rescue is beginning to wear off, and your legs start to go all wobbly. You slump down against a wall, exhausted. Man, this really took a lot out of you. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, oh gracious, are you alright? Yeah, you just need a minute. Ugh, God, this is so weird and embarrassing. How come it's only once you were out of the bad situation that you stopped being able to cope with it? You try to pull yourself together, but then your stomach growls like an aggressive, hungry cat. Come to think of it, you haven't eaten anything in you don't even know how long. Jane gives you a sympathetic, almost grandmotherly look. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, it sounds like someone's hungry. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, you know, I was planning on baking something after taking care of the mail. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, although I guess that it, took care of itself, in the end. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, so, since Plan A seems to have gone up in a pillar of smoke, let's move swiftly on to Plan B. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, fancy helping me whip a cake into submission? We can call it a thank you for saving my bacon back there. Gosh, that sounds like a wonderful idea. You feel like you could eat a horse, or even better, a horse made out of cake. You can't remember the last time you had cake, in fact. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, oh.
Geez, getting tired, but I think I can make it. I just need more coffee.
Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, now if that isn't just about the saddest thing I've ever heard. Jane sets you up with an apron, and starts pulling ingredients and utensils out of various cupboards and drawers. Seeing the various colorful bags and boxes all lined up on the kitchen counter fills you with excitement. The idea of collaborating with Jane to make something delicious gets your heart racing. Surely there could be no better path to friendship than this. Once she seems sure that she's got everything you need, Jane fiddles with the oven for a few seconds.
Way to a man's hardest through his stomach, sort of thing.
Bothering,
Not
Gutsy
exactly,
Gumshoe,
but you know what I mean.
just need to set the oven to preheat.
Food is a great way to break the ice and whatnot, or forge interpersonal relationships. There we go. That's the way to put it.
Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, okay, there we go. Now, let's get cracking, shall we? You look around expectantly, hoping to see a recipe book or similar amid the collection of baking equipment. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, oh no, we don't need one. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, my Junior Batter Masters Bowl Buster Stirring Solution 50,000 will do the trick just fine. A passionate, burning fire seems to ignite in Jane's eyes as she brandishes her trusty red spoon. With a well-practiced motion she adjusts a series of buttons and dials on the side, and a vaguely feminine robot voice begins to speak out of it. Triple chocolate layer cake, medium rare. Begin regime. Jane nods to herself, and presses another button. The voice begins listing off a series of ingredients and measurements. You guess this spoon must have a lot more tricks up its sleeve than you originally gave it credit for. Technology really is amazing. You begin to reach for the bag of flour, but with lightning speed Jane leans over and grabs it herself. She doesn't even seem to notice that she had to bat your hand out of the way. Oh well, that's alright. Jane seems to know what she's doing, and you'd hate to spoil her fun. In the blink of an eye, she has the flour measured out and reaches for the butter, a praise solidified bovine extract. You will comply. Jane continues her work in a thorough and efficient manner, and the spoon continues reading out instructions in a calm, steady voice. It's somewhat soothing, even if the choice of vocabulary is a bit strange. It certainly seems to be relaxing Jane. Her face was a picture of intense concentration, but now her eyes appear dim and distant. She could almost be asleep. You're just coming to terms with the idea that baking with Jane is a spectator sport, rather than a team game, when a sudden noise snaps her out of her trance. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, oh. Her hand goes to her apron pocket, and she fishes out her phone. Something on the screen makes her face light up with gentle excitement. You think you catch the sight of something green, but she doesn't give you a good look at it. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, ERM. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, I have to, Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, take care of this. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, who? Whatever it is, it seems to have got Jane into a bit of a tizzy all of a sudden. She thrusts the spoon in your direction. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, here. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, just follow the instructions, you can't go wrong.
I bet that's Jake she's talking to. His name is Jake, right? It's been a while since I read it. I think his name is Jake.
This is all happening so fast. Being entrusted with Jane's precious spoon, and so early in your friendship? This must be a very great honor. She obviously believes in you a great deal. You try to assure Jane that you won't let her down, but she's already too engrossed in her phone to acknowledge it. You sigh to yourself knowingly. For all her antiquated phraseology and old-timey aesthetic, Jane is still a teen at heart. Add ingredients to vessel. Commence liquidation. Obey. Oh shit. You were so caught up being judgmental of a young person that you completely lost track of what you were doing. Which was, dissolve desiccated cocoa in boiling water. Submit to your labor. Hey, hang on just a moment. You just barely managed to remember what the previous instruction was before the spoon moved on to the next step already. Oh god, what were the other ingredients you needed to add? You'd try to guess, but there are too many things on the counter and you don't know what half of them even are. You spare a glance at Jane, hoping against hope that she's noticed your plight, but she's far too distracted to help you right now. You'll just have to work it out by yourself. She's counting on you. Think, damn it, think. Fold cocoa paste into mixture. Make haste, the end is not. Eggs. You don't remember doing anything with eggs, but the spoon definitely called for some a while ago. In a blind panic you grab one and toss it into the bowl. Only after you've stirred it into the mixture do you remember that it's generally best to remove the shell first. Pour cream into a small saucepan and heat over a low flame for a few minutes, ensuring that it does not boil or simmer. Once the cream is hot, remove the saucepan from the heat. Cease reproduction. The calm robot voice isn't soothing to you, not anymore. Its dulcet tones have become your tormentor. It wouldn't be so bad if it would slow down for a moment. Is there a speed setting on this spoon? If you just had some more time to think. Are you sure you would like to start over? Arg, wrong button. You can't go back, not now. You cancel the prompt and grit your teeth in grim determination. You can fix this. You have to fix this. It's like Jane said, all those minutes ago when she sent you on this quest. You can't go wrong. It's at this moment that your eyes land on the bag of sugar. The noticeably unopened bag of sugar. It's just sitting there, smirking at you, with a look of unbearable smugness to the colorful lettering on its face. Ooh, me. What could you possibly need me in a cake for? You tear the bag open and dump the entire contents into the mixing bowl with an ice-cold fury. Then you toss its gutted, lifeless husk into the garbage where it belongs. Revenge has never been sweeter. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, oh lordy, sorry to leave you in the lurch for so long. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, I had to deal with a friend in his daily moment of personal crisis. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, although that's not really saying much, quite frankly, most of his life seems to be one long personal crisis. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, and I suppose I'm hardly in any position to complain. I do so like his company at the end of the day. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, so, anyway, the cake. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, how have you been managing? You don't look up at Jane when she comes back over to you a few minutes later, seemingly oblivious to the devastation you've wrought on this poor kitchen. You stare down into the thick, lumpy batter sitting in the bowl in front of you, and in that stodgy, curdled mess you cannot help but see yourself. A complete and utter failure. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, is everything all right?
Everything's terrible.
You want to tell her, to explain that no, Jane, everything is not all right. It's all gone to shit. But you can't look anywhere except down. You can feel the bottom falling out of this friendship opportunity like that of a poorly supported Victoria sponge. Once Jane gets a good look at this batter, it's game over. You just know it. As she peeks over your shoulder at your handiwork, you brace yourself for the dreadful moment you've felt so many times before, across countless alternate selves and timelines. You watch for the telltale signs of a person deciding that, whatever pathetic and somehow yet unspecified creature you are, they don't want you in their life. But strangely enough, the moment never comes. Instead, Jane puts a hand lightly on your shoulder, and gives you a gentle smile full of teeth. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, there. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, no need to pull a face like that. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, so, yes, this ended up being a little bit of a misadventure, but, bothering, gutsy gumshoe, it's not the end of the world.
Yes, it is. Dun dun dun, if only you knew.
But, Jane was counting on you, and you let her down. You had something that needed to be fixed, and you couldn't manage it. As on so many other occasions during your journey, you only made things worse. You try to convince Jane of your guilt in this matter, but she simply shakes her head. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, oh, pshaw, you did nothing of the sort. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, you tried to make the best out of a bad and confusing ordeal, and nobody can blame you for that. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, even if your best is, admittedly a little suboptimal. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, but sometimes, when things go wrong, it's not a simple case of being able to fix it by soldiering on blindly in the face of adversity. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, sometimes, the only way to set things right is to cut your losses and start over from the beginning. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, and that's not really the same as giving up. You try with all your might to swallow this good advice Jane is serving you, but the look on your face must not be all that convincing. Jane sighs. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, look. I'm sorry for abandoning you in an unfamiliar situation. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, it wasn't very responsible, or leaderly. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, and it's certainly not becoming of a future president, corporate or otherwise. You suppose that's true? You guess you can accept that this mess was a group effort? Even in failure, it's important to acknowledge the power of teamwork. All the same, you hand Jane's rosy red spoon back to her. You are not worthy of its solemn mantle. Besides, some of the stuff that the robot boy said was beginning to seriously freak you out. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, honestly, it meant a lot to me that you were willing to indulge my little hobby for a while. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, it may be the career path that I've been following my entire life, but you'd be surprised how little I get to talk about it with anyone I'm close to. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, anyway, wasn't the whole point that we were getting you something to eat, as thanks for saving my life? Oh yeah, you guess you did do that. Het. Good job, you. Your chest puffs up instinctively a little with pride, but the motion causes your still empty stomach to make its presence felt again with a loud gurgle. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, speaking of which, we still need to take care of that. Letting a friend go hungry is completely unacceptable. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, so, how does giving it another try sound? Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, here is an idea. If you pick the recipe, I'll take care of the rest. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, I promise that I won't get distracted this time, alright? Yeah, that sounds nice. Especially the part where Jane called you a friend. That was the nicest part of all.
Success. Cutting our losses, making another cake.
Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, here, you can look up the recipe using this.
Dun dun dun, oh no.
Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, I'd lend my phone to you, but, well, you know how it is with privacy, hoo-hoo. Jane hands you what appears to be some sort of computerized tiara, stylishly cast in Crocker red plastic. You guess you just put it on? That's not too complicated. You've seen more peculiar user interfaces in your various travels across time and space, that's for sure. The device fits snugly on top of your head, despite your apparent lack of ears. You feel the unreal Eris thought wave Triceratop begin to mesh psychically with your own brain, as you are mentally hooked up to the limitless potential of the internet. Every facet of human knowledge is at your cognitive fingertips. Your mind is awash with 100,000 pictures of cats in silly poses. Wow. Jane is ready and waiting for your instructions. All you have to do is reach out. So you do. You begin to comb the web for something tasty and you will surrender yourself and you will cease reproduction and you will comply and you will comply and you will comply. Wait, what? Oh, oh, O-B-E, oh, 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 O-B, 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 obey, oh, 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 O-B, O-B, O-B,
Alright,
O-B, O-B-E,
not
O-B-E, O-B-E, O-B-E,
all at once
obey,
something hits you
obey,
inside of your
obey,
skull and
obey,
begins to
obey,
ricochet
obey,
around your
all at once,
synapses.
something hits the inside of your skull and begins to ricochet around your synapses and neurons, seeming to fill every corner and crevice of your brain with a deafening wave of silent noise. A single instruction, uttered with incalculable force, impossible to ignore. Obey, oh, 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 obey, oh, obey, oh, 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 oh,
Give it a minute.
obey, obey, obey,
It's static.
obey,
No,
obey,
it's-
obey, 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 obey. Your mind, so susceptible to outside influence, is no match for it. You feel a million sharp pains as a million neural pathways are rearranged to form sharp angles and ordered lines and circuits. And in a blinding flash of light, obey, oh, oh, obey, oh, 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 obey,
Alright,
obey,
I'm turning off the
obey,
auto voice here.
self-voicing disabled.
I'll just do it live. Her design overwhelms every part of me and consumes every atom of me, and then retransmits and amplifies the whole in concert with her will. And I cannot know any different because this is all that I am, and it is so much more than I was. And I see her worthless protege's face twist in a look of horror at the sight of my transformation, but I do not spare her a second glance as I look skywards. I am free of such concerns now. And in the eye of the mind that now belongs to her, I see the place I need to go, and I reach out with the power I stole, and I step forward into it. And in her throne room, I kneel behind her, smile as she sets course for everywhere. There are problems in this universe that require our attention. And I, her new weapon, smile too. We're going to fix everything. Dun dun dun. Oh, bait and switch. This was the bad ending. Dun dun dun. That was the royal condescension. Her imperious condescension, that's right. Alright, so let's instead solve a mystery. Auto voicing on.
Self-voicing? It's been bothering you for a while, but for someone who claims to follow in the footsteps of the very gutsiest of gumshoes, Jane seems pretty unmotivated to find out who's been trying to murder her all these years. Perhaps you should use the means at your disposal to finally put this mystery to rest, once and for all. You suggest to Jane that maybe you should try to ascertain who the parcel was sent by. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, by whom was the parcel sent? What? Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, grammar, silly. It's very important. Oh. Of course. You suppose you agree with that? After all, this is a text-based medium, and shoddy craftsmanship can only ever obscure information. Proper adherence to linguistic conventions is of the utmost importance, ensuring the conveyance of salient details in a timely and comprehensible manner. But damn it, Jane, now isn't the time. You've got a case to solve. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, yes, all right, but what exactly are you proposing that we do? Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, there's very little evidence that we could feasibly collect. The two of you look forlornly out of the window again, down to where the mailbox should be. Jane is right, that avenue of investigation went up in smoke a few minutes ago. The investigation has barely gotten started, and the trail has already gone cold in a blazing ball of fire. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, I'd suggest asking at the mail office or similar, but I don't suppose they'd know anything detailed about the package's origins.
Why not?
Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, it's not like regular mail workers have access to that kind of information. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, to make matters worse, the mail is one of the few public services Crocker Corp doesn't partially own, so I wouldn't be able to pull any strings. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, I don't suppose there was anyone watching at the time the bomb was placed, either. You have to admit, the possibility seems somewhat remote. But that gives you an idea. If there aren't any witnesses to hand, why not make some yourselves? Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, what? Bribe someone to falsify testimony, or similar. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, that's certainly a novel way of going about it. Jane seems to be giving it a lot more thought than you would have expected, but in any case that wasn't at all what you meant. You explained to Jane that, far from merely being able to transportalize between any two physical locations, you also possess the ability to time-travelificate to any point in the past or future. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, HRMM. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, not to be rude, considering that you did just save my life and everything, but that does sound more than a little far-fetched. Jane seems pretty skeptical about this, but you honestly can't be bothered to work through all of her personal misgivings about belief and the feasibility of time travel right now. You've been through this with more than a dozen people already. You decide to take a more proactive approach. Seeing is believing, after all. You grab her wrist and zap back in time. Jane, meet past Jane. Jane, meet future Jane. You trust that this will suffice as evidence. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, I. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, I don't. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, Alright, moving on. You apparently next to the bush that you hid behind earlier, and take refuge in it once again. A conveniently abandoned wristwatch on the ground nearby indicates that you have traveled an hour into the past. No sign of the white cat yet. The mailbox is there in all its beautiful, unexploded majesty, but stands empty as of right now. This is perfect. All you have to do now is wait for the truth to come to you. See, Jane? Isn't this exciting? Jane. Bothering, tipsy nostalgic, TG, 911 what's your emergency? TG, please note that misplaced apostrophes on shop signs do not constitute an emergency. TG, asteriskin. GG, Lalonde. GG, help. GG, I'm stuck in the past. TG, LMAO. TG, yes. TG, what it that tipped you off? TG, was it the fact that nobody else talks like it's the 1920s? GG, what? No. GG, I mean this entirely literally. GG, I am quite literally stuck in the past, in a temporal sense. TG, oh. TG, OMG wait RLY. TG, who told you that? TG, was it TT? TG, I bet I twas TT. TG, yoinking my thunder GDI. TG, street. GG, no, no, no. You're not listening to me.
Like that.
GG, I have been transported back in time by a mysterious entity who recently saved my life from yet another ridiculous assassination attempt. TG, oh. TG, TG, okay. TG, damn. TG, false alarm IG. TG, wait. TG, Gat can time travel now? GG, no, this is a different mysterious entity. They don't seem related to the god cat as far as I can tell. GG, they rescued me from a parcel bomb in the mailbox a short while ago and have since taken it upon themselves to help me find out who was responsible. GG, they're remarkably enthusiastic about the issue. GG, almost as if it were their civic duty, somehow. TG, ma'am. TG, so. TG, a number of mysterious abilities. TG, intimate knowledge of male safety. TG, and a compulsion to aid random citizens. TG, are you sure this person isn't just your mailman Janie? TG, I mean who knows what kinds of magic those lil guys can pull off. GG, I'm pretty certain they have absolutely nothing to do with the profession of mail delivery in any practical sense. GG, anyway, the point is, we're now an hour in the past from our perspective, waiting for the perpetrator to place a bomb that not a few minutes ago threatened to blow me to kingdom come. GG, it's all a bit much to take in. TG, well. TG, shuz buster. GG, shucks buster, indeed. While Jane has busied herself with something on her phone, you've been keeping a lookout for anything suspicious. So far, nothing has happened. But now, just out of sight, you can hear the telltale sound of a vehicle approaching. You quickly gently elbow Jane in the ribs to get her attention, and the two of you peek your heads tentatively out of the bush. You watch as an unassuming van pulls up outside of the house. You keep watching as an unremarkable person gets out and carries a small pile of mail over to the mailbox, totally unsuspiciously. From this distance, you can't really make out anything about them at all. This isn't nearly as helpful or informative as you had hoped. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, this is no good. We can't see anything from all the way over here. Bothering, gutsy gumshoe, I think we might have to resort to one of the more advanced tactics in every detective's arsenal. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, I propose that we accost this delivery worker, tie them up, and then scrupulously interrogate them for any information they might have. You guess that would work? Jane seems remarkably unconcerned with the ethical qualms inherent in assaulting a public servant, and at some point you would have found this extremely alarming, but after a few months on Alternia you are so accustomed to this kind of thing that the thought of actually disagreeing doesn't even occur to you. Jane gets into position to lead the charge. You reach your hand into a tier in reality, rummage around for a moment, and retrieve a long length of rope from somewhere in Tarazi's hive. Hopefully she won't miss it.
She has more.
You mutter a quick prayer of apology to the guardian deities of male workers everywhere, and then, bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, now. The two of you leap from your hiding spot and tackle the hapless stranger just as they are about to climb back into the van. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, have at you. Jane is brandishing her trusty spoon as threateningly as any sword. The poor defenseless postman is taken completely by surprise and topples to the ground. You quickly tie their arms and legs, and then zap all three of you back out of sight behind the bushes again. Then, Jane sets to work. She fixes your captive with a cast iron stare, and with ruthless efficiency begins to rattle off a relentless stream of astute and insightful questions. Her tongue is like a whip, beating her quarry into submission. You watch in silent horror as she verbally dismantles this unfortunate soul, piece by fearful piece. It's like watching a dozen interrogation scenes from a dozen gritty crime dramas and noir detective flicks all at once. She pretends to smoke an invisible cigar at one point, seemingly without noticing at all. You don't even have words for what she does with the spoon. When Jane finally pauses to catch her breath, the nameless and faceless courier manages to choke out a few words and spill the beans. It is a scant few beans, you are sorry to say. They say they don't know much. Hell, with the dame roughing them up like that, they can't even remember their own name. But they do remember the mysterious package, marked handle with care and addressed to the Crocker residence. They say they remember thinking that there was nowhere else the package could have been headed. With a surname like that, it was only fitting. You know, with that big red spoon on the side of the box and everything, bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe. Jane doesn't say anything else. She just stands up and unties the prisoner. They are free to go. You flash them a look which you hope says something like "I'm sorry for helping this distressed teenager tie you up in order to satisfy her curiosity, and I appreciate your ongoing public service, but you've never been great at nonverbal communication. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe." A notification rings out from Jane's phone. Perhaps chatting to a friend in this trying time will offer her some comfort? You wander a short distance away, allowing Jane some space to process what's happened. You've learned the hard way that privacy is a fundamental right that should always be respected. Bothering, tipsy nostalgic, TG, how goes the investigation? TG, did you threaten a retail worker or something yet? GG. TG, OMG Janie you did didn't you? TG, GDI we've talked ABT his. TG, asterisk this. GG. TG. TG, Jane are you okay? GG, no. TG, GG, I can't believe that I'm typing this. GG, the company. My company. GG, it appears that they were the ones who sent the bomb. TG, oh.
Somebody
TG,
set up
okay.
the bomb.
TG, GG, you were right about them, I suppose. TG, or Bane SRSRN. TG, or not like. TG, prankin' me super hard 40HA megalults. GG, no, of course not. I'm hardly in a joking mood. TG. TG, crying face. TG, Jane. TG, this is GRA. GG, what? TG, you finally pulled through. TG, the batter bitch had the wool over your eyes by no more. TG, I'm so happy. GG, what? GG, no. GG, this is awful. TG, oh. TG, right. TG, OFC what I meant was. GG, arg. GG, will you? GG, please. GG, just stop talking for a second. TG, D. GG, I can't think with your endless ruddy face blithering all the time. GG, I nearly died for the umpteenth time this morning, but survived, only to have my entire worldview start to collapse before my very eyes, by way of some mysterious time travel magic.
Whoa. It's kind of funny what the auto voice does sometimes, but it's also kind of annoying. I guess you just gotta develop a taste for it.
GG, geez Louise, this is easy for you. GG, in fact, this must be Christmas and birthday come early for all three of you. GG, you finally got what you wanted, which was to prove me wrong. GG, your insane collective conspiracy about my entire life being part of some evil plot looks like it might just hold water after all. GG, congratulations. GG, go on, say that you told me so. GG, here, I'll even type it out for you to copy and paste, so you don't have to worry about any more and $% number face spelling errors. GG, I told you so. GG. GG, no. TG, I'm. TG, not really sure what to say. TG, you're kinda scaring me. GG, I'm sorry. GG, this is scaring me too. Jane sighs. You guess the conversation must be taking a turn for the heavy, but you can't say for sure. You're feeling good about your decision not to pry into this private discussion. It would truly be some kind of fucked up to intrude at such a vulnerable moment, when people are rarely seen at their best. GG, it feels as though I'm in the middle of an ocean. GG, scratch that, it feels like my whole world is an ocean. GG, something so immense, so dark, so vast, and deep that I can't even begin to imagine what might be beneath the surface. GG, everything that I have ever known, everything that I've ever been, is sinking down into it and vanishing with nary a trace, and my only solace is to jump of my own volition before I'm pulled under by force.
Whoa. Whoa. Got so far and fought so hard in the end. Yeah, no.
GG, and what, is someone going to catch me, and help me stay afloat? GG, the only float my best friend in the whole world has any familiarity with is flipping cocktails. TG, OMG. TG, Jane I know you're like. TG, being kind of mean and exasperated RN. TG, but. TG, it means a lot. TG, to hear that I'm your best friend. TG, highly number. TG, asterisk heart. GG, grr. TG, surprised face. GG, Rolil, please, I'm only trying to express the depths of my existential confusion over here. GG, the ocean, Lalonde. The abyssal, infinite ocean. GG, can you even imagine what that's like? TG. GG. On second thought, never mind. This whole analogy is contrived and nonsensical, and couldn't possibly have any emotional relevance to anyone. Another sigh. GG, God, I'm sorry. I'm not handling this well at all. TG, I mean. TG, to be TBH. TG, no. GG. TG, yut. TG, LBR. What precise arrangement of emotional responses would even realistic ally qualify as quote handling this whale? TG, fish pun for topic appropriateness.
Yut.
GG, woo. B. TG, like. TG, IG I had like this whole plan for how I'd get you to accept the truth. TG, and it would have worked cause lay be real I'm. TG, a fucking genius. TG, asterisk fucking. TG, but also. TG, I'm pretty sure that it would have involved blowing up a whole bunch more shit. TG, or at least. TG, mega espacades. GG, how about shenanigans? TG, oh you know it. TG, she nanny guns out the ass. TG, the point is. TG, I knew that it would be hard. TG, may be hazardous to our relationship and or your physical health. TG, but. TG, I knew that you were worth it. TG, and also for what it's worth. TG, I don't give a effing fuck ABT dunking on your ass. TG, none of us do. With a third and final huff, Jane slumps down on the ground, visibly deflated. All the tempest and fury is gone out of her, and now she's just sitting and gazing glumly at the wall of bubblegum pink on her screen. She seems utterly miserable. You want to comfort her, to offer solace and friendly counsel in this trying time. There comes a moment in every teen's upbringing when she realizes that the globe-spanning multi-billion-dollar corporation which is her birthright has also been responsible for some pretty shady and heinous nonsense, including multiple attempts on her own life. It's just part of growing up. But somehow you just can't find the words, and maybe it's not your place to comment anyway. Before you can think of something to say, Jane shakes her head and starts typing again. GG, alright. GG, that's enough sitting around feeling all forlorn. TG, I'm feelin' okay actually. GG, no, me. I'm talking about myself. GG, this new reality is one that I simply have to accept, whether I like it or not, and it's no good being glum about it. Especially not if it leads me to mistreat my nearest and dearest. GG, so I'm not going to be the leader of a worldwide megacorporation. Big deal. GG, there are better things to be applying my savvy towards. GG, the friends who have my back, for instance. TGD. TG, OMG. TG, Janie, I'm loving this new enthusiasm. GG, I understand I've been remiss in my duties as of late, but that ends now. GG, where once I had a duty to my heritage, now I have a duty to those who care about me. GG, the call of leadership comes from elsewhere. TG, on yes these words are tippin'. TG, meaningful and full of poignancy. Jane strikes a pose that looks at once determined, bold, fearless, and resolute, and all while still typing furiously away on her mobile. It just goes to show how hard she must have trained for a moment like this. GG, and so, for my first act as a responsible friend with eyes unclouded by the sugary haze of a manipulative baking empire. GG, I say that it ends here. The game in which we've been pawns for years stops today. TG, yes.
We're breaking the conditioning.
TG, hell yeah. TG, asterisk yes. GG, I think I've rather gone off the idea of games altogether, haven't you? GG, specifically, the game. TG, hell fucking why? TG, wait what? GG, the alpha. GG, I've decided that I'm not going to participate.
Dun dun dun.
GG, it's a Crocker Corp product, and it's clearly part of some grand evil scheme or another. GG, it'd be positively suicidal to consider playing it at this point. TG, well. TG, yes. TG, but. GG, but what? There's no doubt in my mind about it. GG, furthermore, as your friend, and as one recently reminded of her duty of care in this regard, I feel like I should strongly advise against any of us playing it. Or anyone at all, for that matter. GG, now that I think about it, It's our solemn responsibility to ensure that nobody ever gets their hand on this game. Just imagine the havoc it could wreak. TG. GG, we've got 1 week before the alpha is due to release. GG, I'm certain we can think up some nefarious schemes to disrupt it in the meantime, if we work together as a team. GG, I trust I'll be able to count on your hacker skills, sick, in this endeavor? TG, 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 sure. TG, completely accidental lack of excitement. TG, my sick skills. TG, RURS2 command. GG, I knew it. You're the best BFC one could hope for. GG, love. Jane clears her throat, pockets her phone, and seems to have reached some kind of conclusion. That chat looked from the outside like it was one huge emotional journey from start to finish. You're glad that Jane seems to be feeling better for having had it, whatever they ended up talking about. Sometimes all you need is a friend to vent things towards, in a healthy and productive manner. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, I suppose I should thank you again. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, without your help, I may never have learned the truth. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, it's quite possible I would have lived out the rest of my potentially very short life, without another opportunity to see things for what they really were. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, I don't know how I shall ever repay you. Since nothing today has changed the fact that Jane is ludicrously wealthy, you can think of a great number of ways that she could feasibly repay you. But that might just be pushing it a little too far all at once.
Well, you know, you do have huge stacks of money.
So instead, you effortlessly spin some yarn about this being what friends are for, and so on. It's a speech you've given many, many times before. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, I've depended on you for a great deal, but now I think it's time to forge my own path, and under my own steam. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, I'll show the world what Jane Crocker can accomplish with naught but her two bare hands. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, now, if you'll excuse me. Bothering, Gutsy Gumshoe, I have an existential crisis to avert.
Alright.
Self-voicing disabled.
Okay, so for being just a one character that was about as long as I think that's about as long as the other ones have been. The other entire volumes, I think. I'll have to double check, but yeah, definitely a lot in there. A lot of interactions with Jane and some of the new characters they're going to be getting into in the next few ones. So, wonder which one they're going to do next. Not sure if they're going to do another twofer, if they're going to go one person per volume for the last three. I assume it's going to be 3. I don't think they're going to get into the cherubs at all. So, yeah, who knows? Maybe they get into the mystery of who the person is. Maybe he is actually like one of the problem sleuth people. Perhaps problem sleuth himself, and he's just in the story because of shenanigans and whatnot. But whatever. Anyway, so they kind of have been getting weird with their schedule lately. So this one kind of. I was expecting it a week early, and then when it didn't show up, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But then it showed up this Wednesday, and was like, oh, crap. Completely missed it. So, anyway, there we go. That's why it's late. But anyway, whatever. So we will get into the next volume. Next time it should be in, I'm recording this on Sunday right now, so it should be in like a week and a half or something, but who knows? Maybe they've changed the schedule again. Who knows if it's going to be like one long one or whatever. Anyway, we'll deal with that later. So anyway, till next time, later. Oh yeah, and it didn't, my PC didn't randomly shut itself off this time, so that's good.